Hello everyone, this is Payal Vaja. Welcome to Pharma Desert. In this video, we will discuss about disinfection part 2. So let's get started. These are the list of contents we will discuss in this video. First one is factors affecting disinfection, and next one is evaluation of antimicrobial agents and disinfectants. First one, factors affecting disinfection. In last lecture, we will discuss temperature, that is the one type of factor that affect the disinfection. While in this video, we will discuss time of contact, pH of the environment, surface tension, formulation of disinfectant, chemical structure of disinfectant, types and number of microorganisms present, interfering substances in the environment, potentiation, synergism and antagonism of disinfectants. So all are the factors that affect disinfection. First one is time of contact. Sufficient time of contact that must be allowed for the disinfectant to exert its action. So why time of contact that is measured? If sufficient time of contact is maintained, so disinfectant give their effect or disinfectant exert its action. Next one is pH of the environment. A change of pH during the disinfection process can affect the rate of growth inoculum. So what was the pH of environment or how it is affect? The changing of pH during disinfection process that may affect rate of growth inoculum as well as pH of 6 to 8 that is optimum for growth of many bacteria and rate of growth declines on either the side of ranges. So first one is time of contact. Sufficient time of contact that is required. Why that is required? Because disinfectant exert its action properly. If that are contact sufficiently for any if they are contact sufficiently with any surface or objectives. Next one is pH of environment. How it is affected? If changing any pH during the disinfection process, that may affect the rate of growth inoculum as well as if you are maintaining the pH between 6 to 8, that is the optimal for the growth of many bacteria and as well as rate of growth decline on either side of ranges. Next one is phenolic and acidic antimicrobial agents that are usually have the greatest activity in acidic condition. If you are using phenol, otherwise any acidic antimicrobial agents that have the greatest effectivity or activity, so they give the better activity in acidic conditions. Acridine dyes and quaternary ammonium compounds that are usually more active in alkaline than in acidic condition or acidic solutions. So if you are using phenolic and acidic antimicrobial agent that are more active in acidic condition while you are using acridine dye as well as quaternary ammonium compound that are usually more active in alkaline condition rather than acidic solution. Amphoteric antimicrobials that have optimum activities at widely differing pH values. Example is amphoteric antimicrobial example is Tego compound that have optimum activities at widely different pH values. Next one is chemical structure of disinfectant. Chemical structure of compounds that may affect disinfectant activities. So how chemical structure of any compound that may affect the disinfectant activities? Substitution of alkyl chain up to 6 carbon in length in para position to phenolic OH group that increases the activity but greater than 6 carbons in length that decreases the water solubility as well as disinfectant activity. So how chemical structure of any drug molecule or compound that may affect the disinfectant activity? if the substitution of alkyl chain up to 6 carbon in length in para position to phenolic OH group, that may increases the activity, but greater than 6 carbon in length of para position to phenolic OH group, that may decrease the water solubility as well as that may decrease the disinfectant activity. Generally, halogenation increases the antibacterial activity of phenol, but nitration increases antibacterial activity and systematic toxicity also. So, halogenation that increases the antimicrobial activity of phenol, while nitration that increases the antibacterial activity as well as systemic toxicity. Next one is types and number of microorganisms present. So how any number of microorganism as well as different types of microorganism that affect the disinfection properties or disinfectant characteristic. The efficiency of disinfection greatly depends on the nature and number of contaminating microorganisms and especially on the presence and absence of bacterial spores. So, efficiency or effect of disinfection that are mainly depends upon nature and number of contaminating microorganisms and especially on the presence and absence of bacterial spores. So, concentration or effectivity or efficiency of disinfectant that are most widely depend on nature as well as number of any microorganism, especially on presence as well as absence of bacterial spores. It can be seen that most vegetative bacteria are rapidly killed by most chemical disinfectant. So, it can be also seen that most vegetative bacterial species all are rapidly killed with the help of chemical disinfectants and bacterial spores that are difficult to destroy, but some disinfectant like aldehyde that are sporicidal. That means bacterial spore that are very difficult to destroy, but in some cases that are destroyed completely. So aldehyde that have a property to aldehyde act as a sporicidal. That means aldehyde completely kill the spores. Next one is interfering substances in the environment. Materials such as blood, body fluids, pus, milk, food residues or colloidal proteins may reduce the effectiveness of disinfectant if present in small amounts. In the presence of oil and fat, markedly reduce the disinfecting ability of phenolics. So, interfering substances in the environment. So, which type of substances that are interfering in the environment? So, materials, examples like blood, body fluid, pus, milk, food residue or any colloidal protein, all are all may reduce the effectiveness of disinfectant if that are present in very small amount, and the presence of oil and fat that are also reduce the disinfecting ability of phenolics compound. So all are the interfering substance that reduce the effectiveness of disinfectant if that is present in small amount also. Next one is potentiation, synergism and antagonism of disinfectants. First one is potentiation. Potentiation of disinfectant leads to enhanced antimicrobial activity, while synergistic effects are often shown by two antimicrobial agents and which is giving an increased activity, while antagonism effect are often shown by two antimicrobial agent and which is giving a decreased activity. So what was the difference between potentiation, synergism and antagonism? First one, potentiation of disinfectant leads to enhanced antimicrobial activity. So potentiation of disinfectant agent, they enhance antimicrobial activity, while synergistic effects that are often shown by two antimicrobial agent and which is giving an increased activity. So synergism that are shown by two antimicrobial agent and which is giving an increased activity, while antagonism effect that are shown by two antimicrobial agents and which is giving a decreased activity. So what was the difference between synergism and antagonism? Synergism, that is also effect that is shown by two antimicrobial agents, but that increase the activity, while antagonism, they decrease the activity. Evaluation of antimicrobial agents as well as disinfectants. So what was the evaluation test or evaluation parameters? First one is tube dilution and agar plate method. Next one is cup plate method or cylinder plate method. Next one is ditch plate method, gradient plate technique and phenol coefficient method, or that are also called as Rydal-Walker test. So first one, tube dilution and agar plate method. In tube dilution and agar plate method, the chemical agent that is incorporated into the nutrient broth or agar medium and inoculated with test organism. So chemical agent in tube dilution in agar plate method, chemical agent that is incorporated into the nutrient broth or that is incorporated into the agar medium and that is inoculated with test microorganism. And these tubes are incubated at 300 degrees centigrade to 350 degrees centigrade for 2 to 3 days, and then the result in the form of turbidity or colonies are observed. So in tube dilution method as well as agar plate method, first step is chemical agent that is incorporated into the nutrient broth that is present in liquid form, or chemical agent that is incorporated into the agar medium that is present on a solid form, and after that chemical agent that is incorporated properly into the nutrient broth or agar medium that is inoculated with test microorganism. And this tubes containing chemical agents plus test microorganisms all are incubated at temperature about 300 to 350 degrees centigrade temperature, and time period that is about 2 to 3 days, that means 48 hours to 72 hours, and then results are observed with turbidity or colonies, and the results are recorded and the activities of given disinfectant that is compared. So first one is if clear solution. So that is the figure of first figure, that is the tube dilution method, while second one that is the agar plate dilution method. In tube dilution method, nutrient broth is used and chemical agent that is incorporated into the nutrient broth and microorganism are added. First figure, that means clear solution. So no colonies are formed. Next one is slight turbid solution. So slight turbid solution, that means somehow 100 colonies are around formed, while next one is moderate turbid, that means above 100 colonies are formed, and last one is more turbidity, that means approximately 1000 colonies are formed. That is the figure of tube dilution method. While second one is agar plate dilution method. In agar plate dilution method, first one is in this method chemical agents that are incorporated into the agar solid agar and microorganism are added, If no colonies are formed, that means no growth is occur. Second one is approximately 100 colonies are formed. Next one is approximately 500 colonies are formed, and last one is approximately 1000 colonies are formed. Next one is cup plate or cylinder plate method. The nutrient agar that is melted, cooled suitably, and poured into the petri dish. That means nutrient agar that is melt in cup plate or cylinder plate method. Nutrient agar that is melt properly, after melted that is cooled suitably, and after cooling that is pour into the petri plate and spread 0.2 ml of known concentration of inoculum on the surface of solid agar. So that are called as spread plate technique. After spreading known concentration of inoculum on the surface of solid agar, cups or cavities are made by using sterile borer. And now 0.2 ml of drug that is poured into the cups of agar plate and then incubated at 37 degrees centigrade for 24 hours time period. And if the drug has any antibacterial effect, it will show the zone of inhibition. So what is the cup plate method or cylinder plate method? In this method, according to their name, cup are formed in the plate. So how it is occur? Nutrient agar. First of all, nutrient agar is melt properly. After melting, cool the nutrient agar suitably, and after cooling, that are poured into the petri dish. And after pouring nutrient agar into petri dish, spread the 0.2 ml of known concentration of inoculum on the surface of solidified agar, and that are also called as spread plate technique, while cups or cavities that are made by using a sterile borer. So after adding nutrient agar on the petri plate and after spreading inoculum onto the nutrient agar, cups or cavities that are made by using sterile borer. And now 0.2 ml of drug that is poured into the cups of agar plate and then it is incubated at 37 degrees centigrade for 24 hours time period. And if drug has antibacterial effect, so if you are preparing cup or cavity by sterile borer and if you are adding any antibiotics, if you are adding 0.2 ml of antibiotics in each cavity and incubate about 37 degrees centigrade for 24 hours, if drug has antibacterial effectivity, so it will show the zone of inhibition. That means in zone of inhibition any colonies are not formed with the help of antibiotic effect. So that is the schematic representation of cup plate technique. That is the cup containing drug and no zone of inhibition. That means any bacteria are not formed or not grow properly and clear zone that is formed, and below no zone, that means no zone is present. And that is second side, that is also the figure of cup plate method. And in cup plate method various concentration of antibiotic solution that is added, 10 milligram, 20 milligram, 30, 40 or 100 milligram per ml, and check the zone of inhibition. And that is clearly show if 10 milligram solution is added, minor zone of inhibition or a small zone of inhibition that is observed, while you are using 100 milligram per ml, you will easily show the you can easily show uh, larger zone of inhibition. If you are that means if you are using more amount of antibiotic, so you will see more zone of inhibition or a larger zone of inhibition. Next one is ditch plate method. In ditch plate method, the nutrient agar that is melted, cooled suitably and poured into the petri dish. So nutrient agar, that is melt in ditch plate method, nutrient agar is melt properly. After melt, it is cooled suitably and it is poured into the Petri plate. Next step is next step is solidified media that is cut with a sterile blade to make a ditch. So first step is nutrient agar, that is melt properly, cool suitably, and after cooling that is pour into the Petri dish. Second one is solidified media. Solidified media, that is cut with sterile blade and make a ditch. And the drug is poured very carefully into the ditch. After that, various microorganisms are stick on the side of the ditch, and this method is used to find out the potency of drug against various microorganisms by means of inhibition of growth on strict area. So in ditch plate method, first one nutrient agar is melted properly. After melted, it is cooled properly and it is poured into the Petri dish. Second one is solidified media, that is cut with, if agar it is solidified completely. After that, solidified agar media, that is cut with sterile blade and ditch formation. After ditch preparation, drug that is poured very carefully into the ditch and various microorganisms are streaked on the side of ditch. And this method is used to find out the potency of drug against various microorganisms by the means of inhibition of growth on strict area. If in strict any antibiotic is present and if antibiotic have sufficient capacity to kill the microorganism, so that is easily find out. That is the schematic representation of ditch plate method. First one is ditch is formed and ditch after ditch formation, drug that is incorporated into the ditch and that is incubated, that is put into the incubation period, that is about 37 degrees centigrade and 1 day time period, and check the microbial growth. If that is the drug is properly uh, give the antibacterial effect, so colonies are not formed, otherwise colonies are formed. Next one is gradient plate technique. In gradient plate technique, this technique is particularly used to isolate resistant mutant. So that are useful for isolate resistant mutant, and the petri dish is kept in slanting position. So in this process, first of all take one petri dish and that is kept in slant position, horizontal position, in the sufficient amount of melted nutrient agar, that is poured and solidified in slanting position. So first step is take one petri dish and that is kept in slant position or horizontal position and add sufficient amount of melted nutrient agar, that is pour properly and solidify in slanting position. While second one is another layer of agar, that is pour over it and which contains antibiotic solution and solidify it. So second one is another layer of agar, that is pour on solidified agar and that may contain antibiotic solution and it solidified. After that, after solidification, 0.2 ml of bacterial culture that was spreaded over the solid surface and that is incubate it 37 degrees centigrade temperature for 24 to 48 hours. So first step is in gradient plate technique. Take a one petri plate and that is kept in a slanting position and add a sufficient amount of melted nutrient agar and it is solidified in slanting position or horizontal position. After solidify nutrient agar, pour another layer of nutrient agar over the solidified agar that is present in slanting position and which contain antibiotic solution, and after solidifying second layer of agar, add 0.2 ml of bacterial culture and that was spreaded over solidified surface and incubated at 37 degrees centigrade temperature and time period that is about 24 to 48 hours. And the microorganism will grow where the concentration of drug is below the critical level. And the antibiotics get diluted on the lower layer and the gradient of concentration will be produced. So microorganism that will grow where the concentration of drug that is present below the critical level, and the antibiotics which get diluted on the lower layer and gradient of concentration that will be produced, and thus resistant mutant that can be isolated. That is the preparation of gradient plate technique. We already described method in the text. First one is figure of agar. That is take first of all take one petri plate that is kept in horizontal position and add agar. After agar that is solidified, second figure, in second figure we will see we can see agar plus antibiotic solution that is added, and after added agar plus antibiotic solution, add 0.2 ml of solution, spread properly. Next one, last one is phenol coefficient method, or that are also called as Riedel Walker test. Phenol coefficient test that is suitable for testing disinfectants miscible with water and which exert their antimicrobial action in manner similar to that of phenol. So what is the phenol coefficient method? Phenol coefficient test that is suitable for testing the disinfectants that are miscible with water as well as which exert their antimicrobial action in manner similar to phenol. So phenol coefficient method, how it is useful, or when it is useful? It is useful to test the disinfectants that are easily miscible with water and that are also useful for the any antimicrobial agent that give the similar actions to the phenol. Test organism that are used for phenol coefficient method, that is Salmonella typhi, and standard disinfectant that is the phenol. Different dilution of test disinfectant and phenol are prepared in 5 ml of each dilution, that is inoculate with 5.5 ml of broth culture of organism for 24 hours. So first one is different dilution of test disinfectants are prepared. After that, dilution series are prepared, disinfectant and phenol that are prepared. Add 5 ml of each dilution and that is inoculated with, so take 5 ml of each dilution and after that add 0.5 ml broth culture of organism and that is incubated for 24 hours, and all the tubes disinfectant, organism plus phenol and organism all are placed in 17.5 degree centigrade temperature water bath, and subculture of each reaction mixture are taken and transferred to 5 ml sterile broth after 2.5, 5, 7.5 and 10 minutes. So first of all, dilution series is prepared, and this dilution series take 5 ml of each dilution and that is inoculate with 0.5 ml broth culture. After that, all the tubes are placed in 17.5 degree centigrade temperature in water bath, and subcultures of each reactions mixture that are taken and transferred to the 5 ml sterile broth culture after 2.5, 5, 7.5 and 10 minutes. And the broth tubes are incubated at 37 degrees centigrade temperature for about 2 to 3 days, and that are examined for the presence or absence of growth. That is the determination of Riedel-Walker coefficient. First one is test disinfectant and phenol disinfectant. In test disinfectant, dilution is 1 is to 1000, 1 is to 2000, 1 is to 3000, 1 is to 4000, and time interval that is about 2.5 minute, 5 minutes, 7.5 minute and 10 minutes. So first one, if you are using test disinfectant and dilution series is 1 is to 1000, So in 2.5 minutes, growth is present. In and after 2.5 minutes, no growth is present. Second one is, if second dilution is 1 is to 2000, that means in 2.5 and 5 minute interval, growth is present, but in 7.5 and 10, growth is absent. While you are using 1 is to 400, that means growth is present. How it is differentiated? If you are using 1 is to 1000, that means in only one growth is present, in at only 2.5 minutes growth is present, while you are using 1 into 4000, that means dilution is increased, and if dilution is increased, so disinfectant activity is reduced, and disinfectant activity is reduced, so maximum growth is present. In phenol, same, if you are using 1 is to 80 concentration or dilution series, so only 2.5 at 2.5 minute microbial growth is present, but you are using 1 is to 140, that means you are preparing more dilute solution. So if you are preparing more dilute solution, so more dilute solution, that means that have the less disinfectant activity, and the maximum growth is produced. Next one is Riedel-Walker coefficient formula is equal to dilution of disinfectant killing in 7.5 minutes, but that is not in 5 minutes, divided by dilution of phenol killing in 7.5 minutes, but not in 5 minutes. So 200 divided by 100 is equal to 20. How it is possible or occur? If a phenol coefficient or Riedel-Walker coefficient of given test disinfectant, that is about 1, it means that disinfectant has same effectiveness as phenol. So if Riedel-Walker have a 1 value, so disinfectant has the same effectiveness as phenol. While if a phenol coefficient or Riedel-Walker coefficient of given test disinfectant less than 1, it means disinfectant is less effective than phenol. And if a phenol coefficient of disinfectant that is more than 1, that means disinfectant is more effective than phenol. While phenol coefficient of disinfectant that is 20, it means that disinfectant is 20 times more active than phenol. So that is regarding phenol coefficient or Riedel-Walker test. If any query or doubts related to topic, please write your questions in comment box. Thank you.